時間となりましたので、セミナーを開始いたします。本日座長を務めますのは、九州大学アジア・オセアニア研究教育機構研究推進ディレクターのスコット・バレンタイン教授です。バレンタイン先生、よろしくお願いいたします。
Hello and welcome everyone to the 72nd edition of our Brown Bag Lunch Seminars. An interesting topic today that really started me personally reflecting on my ongoing love affair with Japan. You see, I first moved to Japan 32 years ago. At the time, Chiono Fuji was just retiring from sumo, and two young brothers, Takanohana and Wakanohana, were emerging as stars. In Tokyo, Tatsunori Hara and Norihiko Komada were the headline players of the Yomiuri Giants, who broke all of our hearts by losing to the Seibu Lions in the Japan series of that year. And more importantly, in Japanese industry globally, industry was dominating global markets. All of the top electronic brands were Japanese. Japanese automobiles were taking over. The Japan brand was firmly entrenched, categorized by high quality and innovation. So, 32 years later, I look at the competitive positioning of Japanese industry with a degree of sadness. In electronics, companies from Taiwan, Singapore, and South Korea have caught up in quality with many Chinese firms close behind. And the quality gap that Japanese automobile and tool manufacturers, the gap that they enjoyed has disappeared. So as a result, our economy, the Japanese economy, is stagnating, and Japan's economic dominance in Asia appears to be disappearing. So why is that? Well, when we consider the causes, we have to ask ourselves, what gives rise to competitive advantage? And the answer is obviously innovation. Continual innovation yields competitive advantage. So what gives rise to innovation? Well, the answer to that, I think, is diversity of thought. You can't innovate without changing the way you look at product and service design, without new scientific advances that requires new perspectives, diversity, internationalization. So this is why I consider the topic under examination today to be so important. Our Japanese universities need to be at the forefront of change. That means that we need to encourage diversity in all forms. And that requires forward-thinking leadership when it comes to internationalization strategy. So today, we're graced with the presence of Professor Natalie Konomi, who is Vice President for International Affairs and Diversity at Kyushu University. Now, from a background that includes a master's in business administration and a doctorate in economics, Prof. Konomi has herself traveled a very diverse path to arrive at her current position. She's an expert bridge builder and known throughout the university as someone to turn to in order to get things done. And as you'll see today, in her current role, she is tasked with helping to lead our university's internationalization efforts. And so today, we'll be able to enjoy an overview of where we now stand and where we're going in this important area, which, if done right, will help support Japan's return to regional, if not global, economic prominence. So without further ado, Prof. Konomi, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for this really, really wonderful introduction. And I couldn't have put it better in how important this topic of internationalization and international strategy of Kyushu University is, also from an economic point of view. So I'm going to share my slides, and I hope it works, because it always does when we test it. So, all good? Okay, wonderful. So hello, everyone who's joining the session today, and thank you for attending. I will be telling you a little bit about Kyushu University's international strategy, and I will raise the question, actually, if we're headed in the right direction. So I want to hear maybe from the audience later a few comments. What do you think? Is it the right way to go? Before I begin, please allow me to briefly explain about the Global Strategies Office, where I'm actually working at. So what do we do here? And well, the Global Strategies Office was established in April 2021, so actually last year, as part of a new international strategic management system. So what does that mean? So this is a new system which aligns with a vision of, well, collaborative co-creation between the university headquarters and the departments. Simply meaning, let's work together to improve, all together in the university. And our responsibilities include, for example, advancing the internationalization of our campus community, expanding Kyushu University's international impact as a global research university, and also supporting initiatives that really engage faculty, staff, and students in research, teaching, learning, experience, and all service around the world. And what exactly does that include? So it includes, for example, strategic partnerships or international consortia, which I will also be talking about later a little bit more in detail. It includes information gathering on higher education abroad. Also assistance in the development of mobility programs, so be it offline or online, and assistance in integrating all of this with our university's, well, DX or digital transformation strategy. So to be honest, it's quite an ambitious and lengthy to-do list, but yeah, we're doing our best, I think. And I'm based and working directly at the university headquarters. And I do believe that one of my most important responsibilities is actually to liaise within the university, between the headquarters and the departments, with each department having their so-called departmental international offices, in order to make our university's international strategy more transparent and to foster really greater understanding, communication, and collaboration already within the university, because that's where we actually have to start. And well, having introduced our Global Strategies Office and its tasks that are obviously very strongly related to Kyushu University's international strategy, I would also like to continue my presentation with some quick data about Kyushu University. And I really hope that this data will be helpful for you later when I talk about our strategies afterwards. First of all, well, we have more than 18,000 students, including over 2,300 international students from, well, obviously all over the world. And that makes 13% of our student body international. Most of them are graduate students. And again, as I said, the students are from all over the world, and each graduate school, for example, offers international programs for our international students conducted in English language. So the students can acquire a master or PhD degree in English language only. We also do have a few programs where the students can acquire their bachelor degree in English language. So something to keep in mind. The number of faculty is about, or not about, actually, if you look at the number here, it's quite exact, 2,143, which really provides an attractive ratio of student to faculty at Kyushu University. Now, this ratio is 9:1. Again, that offers a really wonderful learning and research environment, I think, with a really high level of interaction and engagement and academic support. But there are two numbers that are not shown really on this nice data list. One is, and I actually would love to throw this in the audience, the number of faculty members that are female, or like the percentage. How many percent of faculty members are female? And anyone who wants to, so I get 20, almost. So it's 15, about 15, 1-5, not 50, but 15%. And the number has unfortunately stagnated over the past 2 years. Another number is 6% of the faculty members are international, 6%. So this number has been increasing, but very slowly. So again, these are numbers I think that you have to keep in mind when we talk about a university's international strategies. Also, ranking, universities ranked 7th in the THE Japan University Rankings of 2022 and are 135th now in the QS rankings. And well, most of the world rankings, you will find us somewhere in the world's top 0.5%, which is not bad, but we could do better. So another goal that we have. So only last year, Kyushu University published its 10-year vision, which we call Vision 2030, which emphasizes Kyushu University's goal to, well, as written here on the slide, driving social change using all of its integrative knowledge. So what does that mean? It means basically that we want to work with interdisciplinarity and that we fuse the whole spectrum of knowledge from natural science to humanities, social sciences, to really contribute to solving social issues and also reforming social and economic systems. Now, we have two major objectives that we set on this path to achieve our vision. As you can see, objective 1 on the slide here is to become a platform for knowledge that drives world-class and research and education. And the second objective is to become the core of an innovation ecosystem that really creates new social and economic systems. Now, when doing or thinking of doing something like that, we have to consider our unique strengths and features. And also, we have to include our curiosity-driven research groups who all cover a really wide range of fields at Kyushu University. And with Kyushu University's top priority to solving societal issues, we decided to go through 3 entry points. The first one is decarbonization. The second one is medicine and health. And the third one is environment and food. And we want to achieve all this social change through digital transformation. Now, at the same time, Kyushu University is also determined to identify, as I mentioned earlier, new research fields where we have the potential to lead the world and become a world-class research and education hub. And I think this includes 3, well, you could call it goals, but also maybe pillars, I think. The first one is to educate and foster value-creating professionals. The second one is to boost research capabilities and to compete with the world. And the third one is then to strengthen international collaboration. And I today want to focus on point 3, to strengthen international collaboration, because I think this goal summarizes Kyushu University's international strategy best. And it also includes initiatives that are already set and that are really necessary to realize goals 1 and 2, obviously. Now, what sets a world-class university apart in terms of international collaboration, I think, is the ability to attract talented students and researchers from all over the world while we produce really first-rate achievements in research and education. So in other words, the university's ability really to act as a hub for international talent or brain circulation. Now, this means, again, we need to really accelerate this kind of international talent circulation through, well, among other strategic global partnerships and other initiatives, such as here listed on my slide, advanced global learning or research and leadership and building a global environment. And I would like to elaborate a little bit more on these points, on our initiatives and examples to strengthen our international collaboration. So we're going a little bit more into detail, see a number of bullet points here. And some points I would like to highlight are, again, keeping in mind the goal of boosting global talent circulation into and out of the university, right? So we want them to come into the university, collaborate within the university, use their network collaborating outside. For those who are leaving, continue collaborating with Kyushu University, again, of course. So really a constant circulation. And well, first of all, of course, one goal is that we need to increase the number of international and female researchers and students. So we want them to come to Kyushu University to take advantage, of course, of our first-rate research and education facilities. Would be, for example, our hydrogen experiment facilities, or we're famous for our fuel cell experiment facilities and really other cutting-edge research facilities and equipment. Or another example would be the smart farm that uses ICT. Now, creating a multicultural and a diverse environment in this way will really increase the number of international joint research projects and it will lead to further improvements in the quality of education and also accelerating again the pace of international talent circulation. So we have to keep that in mind all the time. Now, to fulfill such a goal, we are in the process of, for example, thoroughly re-examining the functions of our overseas offices. We have 10 overseas offices, 4 of which actually have permanent staff assigned. And the plan is that we will use them to recruit talented international students and researchers, but also strengthen the ties with local education and research institutions, and then bridge for future collaboration in education and research. And just as an example, just before the pandemic, we established our Stockholm office as a center point where we try to cover all of Europe now. We had end of August, finally the first time that we had a kickoff event on site with many Swedish partners and not yet partners joining and starting already networking and getting researchers connected. So it's something very important, I think. At the same time, we have to increase or intensify our activities and collaborations with our Asian partners. Because to be really honest, I think that this has been underutilized in the past. And this is actually where I'm very happy that today, well, I've been invited to join this session organized by the Kyushu University Institute for Asian and Ocean Studies. So they play a really important role, I think, for our further activities with Asia. And based on our new international strategies, we also select as a focal international collaborator other universities all over the world. But of course, we have to take into account factors such as their rankings, their locations, and networkability. And some of these, well, selected universities, just a very few of those exclusive universities, we want to refer to as our strategic partners. The goal here is that we form multifaceted and stable international partnerships with them, not only in research and education, but also in human resources and governance. So with these partners, we also establish overseas matching funds. And we currently have one strategic partner, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in the United States, with whom we have, for example, agreements in 5 areas. And one would be smart grid and sustainable energy. The second is data science and mathematics. And the third one, environmental economics. The fourth one is humanities. And the fifth one is a combination of library science, data management, and curation. Now, we would, of course, also like to have similar arrangements with other universities. But let's be honest, this is always a budget question. It's time consuming, and we do need a lot of staff for this to really make it happen. So we always have to analyze and evaluate what is within our actual resources. What can we really do? So sometimes we have to limit our goals a little bit here. Now, we also use consortia of the world's leading universities to give our collaborative efforts new dimensions. So such consortia offer a really, really huge opportunity for the whole university. This can be in education for students or training of faculty members. And as a research-intensive university, also providing a platform for collaborative and interdisciplinary research and innovation. And we also have often seed funding opportunities for new collaborations. So I would like to just show 3 examples of consortia that we are involved in at Kyushu University. For example, Denke. Now, this is a shorthand for Japan-UK Research and Education Network for Knowledge Economy Initiatives, I think it was, with 6 research-intensive universities from the UK and from Japan. So we have in total 12 members. And in this consortium, we provide research grants. We are having, for example, this year, a winter school for early career researchers with mentorship programs. Those seminars that we're planning now are focusing on climate change and health. And however, the priority areas, so this time it's climate change and health, but they change throughout the years. So we were already established, or we established the consortium 2012. So we just celebrated our 10th anniversary, actually, with all members from the UK also meeting in Tokyo. The other one is Mirai, which is a consortium between Swedish and Japanese top universities, which was established in 2017. We started with 7 Swedish and 8 Japanese universities. And we're also supported by various Swedish and Japanese research foundations. Mirai actually, when it started, was originally supposed to be a 2-year program, but already after 1 year, all members noticed and decided that it was really, the outcome was amazing. And they decided that we should continue this important collaboration between Japan and Sweden. So we're having now Mirai 2.0. We do have 11 Swedish partners here now and 8 Japanese universities. And we focus on specific topics such as aging, material sciences, sustainability, and artificial intelligence. And that's also just a little announcement what I'm doing this year. We're happy that from actually November 15th, so this month, Kyushu University will be hosting the Mirai 2.0 Research and Innovation Week for young researchers. And we will be actually welcoming on site now almost 300 researchers from Sweden and Japan on our Ito campus. So again, a great opportunity for networking, collaboration, and innovation again. And last but not least, we are a member of APRU, which is the Association of Pacific Rim Universities, with a membership of 60 leading research universities from around the Pacific Rim. And this includes 200,000 academics and staff and 2 million students. Now, this is an amazing network again, and there's so much we can do with it. And just yesterday, actually, we started a program with 6 core universities led by Chulalongkorn University and the Chinese University of Hong Kong, have a program of undergraduate students. It's all online virtual, on the topic of SDG education, so Sustainable Development Goals education for global citizenship. Again, it's with 6 core member universities that gather together to set up this huge program from November to March. The program is an intercultural and a transdisciplinary and very interactive program where we foster global citizenship among the students. And it, well, being co-designed by the universities, but also we have a lot of support from the United Nations here. And it builds basically knowledge of global issues and global literacy among the students learning about SDGs. And with this program, the students will, again, learn about SDGs, but at the same time get the opportunity to really explore in depth some of the world's biggest challenge. And they actually have to work in small teams to propose solutions through collaborative development for social innovation prototypes. So, and we're very happy that also from Kyushu University, a number of students are actually participating. So it's a very important part of internationalization of university. Kyushu University also started a pilot project here within APRU, focusing on the training and supporting the networking and interdisciplinary collaboration between early career researchers. So that's another area we're focusing on, and it's more research oriented. So just a little introduction of these 3 consortia that are really important to us. Now, as for student exchange, we aim to increase the number of inbound and outbound students, as probably all Japanese universities are, through a number of measures. One is, for example, the university-wide promotion of COIL education. Now, COIL stands for Collaborative Online International Learning. And this is a teaching method, but it is also a cost-effective way of offering international education, global learning, and intercultural experiences to our students in all disciplines. And what it does is it links the students and faculty across borders for shared teaching and learning experiences. And we use a wide variety of online communication methods that we have now, sort of thanks to the pandemic. So it's a really sort of flexible framework for developing courses, connecting institutions, faculty, and students, and supporting at the same time our university's goal for student learning and engagement. Another measure is the establishment of joint degree programs and double degree programs with a university-wide support. And then we have also the promotion of international exchange programs, and mostly important, the improvement of such program contents, basically before and during and after studying abroad, where we use a lot the know-how of the School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation at Kyushu University. So I hope this gives an outline about the student side of it. And in terms of researcher exchange, we are actively seeking cross appointments with our strategic partners in order to increase the number of international joint research projects. So just some of the initiatives and things that we're doing. Now, of course, what is important when we talk about making university international and our strategy for Japanese universities and for Kyushu University, we must make our campus environment more conducive to international talent or brain circulation. And the first step is to implement bilingualism. So in our case, we use Japanese and English in the on-campus environment because this relates to education, research, and daily life. And we're constantly trying to improve the quality of service and the living environment for international students and researchers by, of course, also improving our staff's ability to handle international duties and improving the quality of counseling services for our international students and researchers. So there's a lot to do. And when it comes, for example, to housing or living environment, there are also plans to construct more dormitories around our campus in cooperation with the private sector. So we hope to offer more accommodation for local and international students to live really side by side, as they're doing already in our dormitories now, but it's just not enough. And we want to promote interaction, of course, exchange and co-learning among international and Japanese researchers and students. Now, also important is that we seek to organize overseas alumni associations, and we want to create a new fellowship for our overseas alumni that will allow them to return to their alma mater and conduct research with adequate institutional support. Now, yeah, Japan is a little bit behind when it comes to international alumni associations, I think, and there's so much that we can do. So the idea is that really as a result, we will be able to maintain long-term relationships with our alumni while also increasing our efforts to promote international talent circulation again. So we're always coming back to promoting our international talent circulations. And also by taking advantage of our expanded global networks and potential affluent donors, not only inside but outside of Japan, we hopefully will raise more funds to strengthen the university's financial base. And well, this is really strongly connected with creating a feeling of belonging and affinity with Kyushu University, which means we need to involve our students much more in many, many processes within the university. So we also want to get students more involved in the administration of international projects. One example is expanding the activities of our Q-mates. So that's a group of student assistants who are comprised of both Japanese and international students. And of course, also a number of international student associations that we have in the university, but also locally in the prefecture, for example, or Fukuoka City. Now, the students usually are asked to provide service and counsel at the student counter, but we want to expand this a little more. And of course, it includes meeting the VIPs from around the world to give tours of the campus. But they could also coordinate with the overseas alumni associations all over the world. So it's really important that we can include them in all of these processes here. So we do have a very long to-do list, but we already have begun putting forward some of the initiatives, and others are in the process of being developed. So we are working out detailed plans for how to proceed. And I really hope that with the support of everyone at Kyushu University, of course, but also the local community and anyone really interested in creating a truly, let's say, multicultural and diverse university, a multicultural and diverse Fukuoka even, and a multicultural and diverse Kyushu, or even a more multicultural and diverse Japan. All of this can really become reality, and I'm very optimistic here. But I think, and then that's where I'm coming back to the start of my presentation, actually. This is why communication between the headquarters and departments, faculty, staff, and students, and the community, again, is so essential. And with that, I would like to close my presentation. And I'm very happy to hear your comments, having introduced all of this. Are we headed in the right direction? What do you think? So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Prof. Natalie. And, you know, actually, this has been one of our best attended talks. So clearly this is something that everybody's interested in. There's a few questions that have come in. 皆さん、もし質問なんか意見があれば、ぜひそのチャットボックスの方に、入れてください。もう英語でも日本語でも構いません。So please put in any opinions or questions that you have into the chat box. The first question, is basically asking you about target goals. Are there any goals that have been set, concrete goals in regard to increasing the number of international students and faculty?
Yes. So we do work with benchmarking. We use certain universities that are similar maybe in our style, and we benchmark with those and have numbers put up then. So that goes for how many students we want to increase and how much research funds we want to raise, for example. So yes, we do benchmark and we have set up numbers and always. Some of the numbers are quite ambitious. And then we have to, and then that's the part where we have to, again, communicate within the university, because usually it's the top setting up, coming up with these numbers. And then we have to get everybody in the departments involved to see how we get those numbers really, how we reach those numbers, right?
And
Yeah.
do you have target regions that you're focusing on? Is there, you talked about the importance of the Asia Pacific region. What is that sort of a priority area for you?
So the most important is the diverse part. So, but yeah, I mean, Pacific, yeah, we haven't really set that. So from any area, we're very welcome. We would like to have people, like very diverse group of students and researchers coming in. Of course, depending on the area of research, we might focus on another, like a specific area where they are strong in that field maybe. But in general, we haven't really set our priority, like really fixed priorities areas. So of course, our university, as all universities have, mostly Chinese international students, which is a great thing. But of course, we want more diversity. So we will focus around China probably to increase the numbers here. Yeah.
It's actually interestingly, it's a disservice to the Chinese students as well, isn't it? Because they come to Japan to have an international experience and wind up being stuck with a bunch of their countrymen. It doesn't provide the cultural diversity that I think they're looking for either.
Exactly. And I mean, you definitely need cultural diversity for, as you mentioned at the beginning, for innovation, creating new ideas. That's the best that you can have then.
Yokoto Sensei asked, I think, a very good question, because we do talk about Koryu and getting students involved in in collaborations together and the importance of exchange. And all too often, what happens is we bring in international students, and then we just expect it to happen. And so he is asking, are there any places on campus where, Japanese students can casually meet with international students on a regular basis?
Yes, of course. We do have a number of places here. For example, one place that I always recommend is Salk. It's like in the center zone of our university. It's a place where Japanese and international students meet or can meet anytime. They offer like tandem learning to improve their languages, but also they have sessions where they introduce or will do some presentations on cultural topics, or sometimes it's just really different topics, like they do like book reviews and have discussions. So it's a great place to meet people. Also, I mean, we always recommend the students to enter some kind of club or circle that the universities offer, or Kyushu University also offers, because it's the best way to connect the students with each other. Then we, of course, have a number of like student associations, like KUFSA, Kyushu University Foreign Student Association, or with all Fukuoka City. So there are a number of places where the students can actually go and get the experience. But then at the same time, I have to say, I always miss, there are not as many as Japanese people, maybe because they're shy or they're really busy with their studies. So for us, it's also important to integrate the Japanese students and get them more involved and have them doing a lot of things together with the international students, because internationalization and diversity doesn't mean that all the foreigners come in and do everything. It means that we all do it together. And that's when we create a really, really great environment, I think.
Are there any, programs or research fields that seem to be particularly able to draw upon a number of, foreign students? Because I note in biology, for example, there seems to be a lot of foreign students that come in to learn with our agricultural biologists.
Right, definitely. I mean, one thing is probably if we look at undergraduate levels, as I mentioned during the presentation, that we have bachelor degrees in English language only. So these are in the School of Agriculture and the School of Engineering. And here, the students then kind of get mixed also with the Japanese students within the faculty. So that's the starting point. In other areas, of course, some research institutes have a lot of researchers coming in from abroad. So we have more activities going on there with the Japanese. So yeah, it depends on the field, I think. And I would like to distribute that a little bit more equally on the whole campus to be available for everyone and to, see for everyone.
It's an interesting question. The question is, what do you see as the competitive strengths and attractions of Kyushu University when you're trying to make appeals to overseas students versus, for example, other Japanese schools?
Right. I mean, one is, of course, our research areas. So we always put those research facilities and the equipment that we have at front. The other thing that I personally think is really important is, the life in Fukuoka. So Kyushu University, its location is really, really wonderful, I think. Living in Fukuoka is about 18% cheaper than, for example, in other larger cities like Tokyo, Osaka, right? So living, just the quality of life, I think, is nicer. So I do appeal to the students with that point as well, because again, I think it's really important. And I do think that Kyushu University is one of the universities where we are a little more diverse than others. I think the numbers do show, even though the numbers are lower compared to other universities, we are higher. And I do believe that's because we are making an effort here, and it's only going to improve. But most of all, when we try to get researchers or students come to Japan, it's of course our research results, a little bit of ranking, and then express how great the university and the campus is. If you have a better idea what we can do, just let me know then.
Here's an interesting question that is, I think, poking the bear a bit, but sort of also mentioning that the aims of the internationalization programs are commendable, but of course, success relies on buy-in from everyday faculty and staff on the ground. And so, are there any other strategies to encourage such buy-in that you can elaborate upon?
Right. So I think one big start for us, because that's really a very good point made here, because Kyushu University, I think a lot of the universities in Japan, but Kyushu University also, we have the headquarters and everything is top down, and then each department is very independent. So to really get everyone into these changes that maybe the top wants to implement, we really need to get the departments involved as well. And this is the part where I think our Global Strategies Office plays a really important role, because we were set up to create this bridge or communication tool between headquarters and departments, and to make everything that we do more transparable, that they can really see what's going on and get more input actually from each department. So we've set up regular meetings with each department, and we have also a larger meeting with, like a committee meeting with all departments involved now, a new kind of committee meeting that we have, where we really discuss about the internationalization and see what each department needs, because that varies, obviously. And so we try to kind of see and integrate the needs of those. And with that, they get a little bit more open and open up a little bit more to the headquarters as well, and to the ideas that we propose. So yeah, maybe that's one way to go at the moment, and one strategy that we're implementing here.
I actually, if I can, I'll just like to extend that question a bit, and perhaps a little bit a difficult question to speculate on, but do you get the sense that within leadership circles at Kyushu University, that people are truly prepared to accept the chaos that comes with internationalization? Because, I often reflect on my own role at the university. Frankly, I'm a pain in the neck. I'm extremely difficult to work with because I'm old.
You are.
And I have my own opinions on things, and I want those opinions to be heard. And this causes for my colleagues, I think, a lot of difficulties. And and so the question always has to be, are we prepared for that? Do you think, for our lives to be a little bit more complicated?
I think a few are prepared for it, others not yet, to be really honest. So this is exactly where we have to continue pushing, sort of, because I don't want to pinpoint anyone, point at someone in particular, or like which area or whatever, but it is really difficult to get everyone, of course, convinced. And some don't really think it's necessary. Others are really into it. So it's going to start from a core group, definitely, again. And we just slowly have to convince people. And but it usually ends with the core people, I think, who have the most work. And I really think, as you just mentioned, Scott, that sometimes you have to be annoying to make changes. And because if we just go with the flow as we always have and just follow our habits, then nothing will change. And then for not only Kyushu University, but for Japanese universities in the global market, that's really, really a bad thing, because we will really fall behind. So there's not really a choice. We really have to do this. It's not an option, actually. And that's what people have to learn, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think many of us who have been in Japan for a while have seen this in not at Kyudai, but in other, universities that I've been involved with. I've seen these international initiatives, get underway, and people are just shocked by just how mendokusai foreigners can be, when you throw them into the system. And it's just, unless you're prepared for that, and you're realizing that this is just part of the way, the new way of operating, it can be very disruptive and very stressful, I think, for
Right. But actually, what I also think is Kyushu University is really making an effort here, and also the headquarters, so to say, because they have set up, for example, well, they had before already set up like a committee where only foreign researchers and faculty members are joining, and they like offer ideas for improving Kyushu University to make it more international. And usually it was just based on recommendations, and we would just like prepare a report and send it to the headquarters, and that was it. Now, actually, the president and executive vice presidents meet with us on a regular basis, and we really discuss issues, and we really go into each topic separately and deep, and see how we can improve the university, because of course there is compromise necessary. We cannot just change it radically overnight, but they're willing to discuss, and they're making already changes. So I'm really optimistic for the future on the long term. Yes, so that's something I'm really happy.
Two quick questions in closing. One is an interesting one that goes beyond internationalization to ask about collaboration at the community level. And I agree entirely with this. The university needs to be doing a better job of integrating with its local community in Itoshima and beyond. But also, I believe that people in Itoshima would, very, very much value having foreign students getting involved in their activities. So is your team focusing on exploring ways to enhance those connections?
Yeah, so as our team, we don't really like that's a different team again, but it's a part of our strategy, of course, that we have to enhance that. And I think one thing that's standing out at Kyushu University is that there are a lot of small projects going on. Kyushu University somewhere is doing something with the local community, but we don't reach that many people because it's, again, it doesn't really show that much what we're doing. So it's really, we really need to like, not centralize it. I don't want to say centralize it, but we need to have a better overview of what's going on and make, or like organize it or structure it a little bit better, I think. Because I think there is a lot of smaller things are going on, but it's just not enough. And we definitely have to include local community and international students and Japanese students at the same time. I don't want to ignore that as well.
2 quick flash questions before we close. First one is the top club activity that connects foreigners and Japanese students. What is it?
The top club activity. I don't know. What is it?
I don't know, but if you're saying to Japanese students, hey, you want to get connected with our international students.
Oh yeah, well, definitely I sent them to SELC.
Okay, SELC. Okay, SELC it is.
But of course, sports, I do know that a lot of the international students are in the sports teams and various sports teams. So I think sports is also a way to go, of course, because there you don't have the language barrier.
And the last question, you've lived in Hokkaido, moved down to Nagoya. Finally, here you are in Itoshima. What's your favorite food here in Itoshima?
Oh, that's really difficult because I love all Japanese food. But actually here in Itoshima now, just recently I started going to the kaki oyster huts.
Yeah.
And it's really delicious. It's actually the first time I went since I came to Itoshima. So that's something, when you come during this autumn time to Itoshima or to Fukuoka, make sure to eat delicious oysters.
Exactly. Great. Professor Natalie Konomi, thank you very much for a wonderful and very enjoyable chat today. And please come back again and share with us some further developments in the international department.
Yeah, definitely. I hope with some good results.
Great. Thank you. For those of you that have joined us, thank you for joining us. Please stay online for a quick survey, if you don't mind, just to give us some insights into what you would like to see in the future. And thank you once again for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
お疲れ様です。
先生、バレンタイン先生、ありがとうございました。最後に事務局よりご案内させていただきます。まず次回のブラウンバックセミナーのご案内です。次回は来週11月9日水曜日の12時10分よりスペシャル BBS といたしまして、在マレーシア日本大使館の斉藤幸義一等書記官より教育分野におけるマレーシア東方政策の推進と題し講演を実施いたします。詳細はホームページをご覧ください。